Hello, welcome to My Messy Fingers. I'm having to restart this video because I forgot some essential measurements. So you'll see that I've got some of it done, but let me pretend that we're starting afresh. I used this base page out of the 12 by 12, and this piece measures at 8.5 inches across by 8 3/4 in the height. Now, this piece being so busy and everything goes in different directions, while I was working on this piece, I had to make a T here so that I would know what my top was when the dimensions are so close I can get turned around. So how far I got at this point was making this pocket and installing it. So this pocket here measures at 2 1/4 inches by 8.5, the width of the page. I taped it on these three ends. And then I put my pattern paper. This is out of the 11.5 and 8.5 by 11 pad. But I cut it this way because this wasn't wide enough, so I cut it in this length. Now I'm taking out of the ephemera this cute little set of, I'm going to call them postage stamps for lack of a better word. And then I'm just going to glue them on. And just going to kind of center this. I'm not going to particularly worry about measuring. And now I'm going to put some lace up here at the top of this. And my lace is so thin, I'm actually doubling it up. So it will come in right here. And I am going to go ahead and put tape, because I already taped them together on their solid seam, which is right here. And then that gives me 2 layers rather than just the one, so they stand out just a little more. But hopefully you're using a lace that you don't have to do that. Okay, and then I'm just going to stretch this across there over the tape, and I'm going to put it down. And then from here, I can go ahead and cut the excess off. There we go. So this top line of the pocket was 4 3/4 up the page. Now what I did so that I know that it was straight is I made little tick marks. I measured up 4 3/4 inches, made a light pencil mark, so that when I put this corner and this corner, I knew I was square. So that's one of the ways how I got that. Now, this bottom pocket, you're going to cut it at 9 3/4 in length by 3 3/4 in height. You're going to come in and you're going to score it at 1/2 inch. Then you're going to score it at 5/8 of an inch. And then you'll take your scissors and you'll come all the way up to the 5/8 score mark, and you're going to cut out those 2 corners. So then when you fold everything up, you've actually got a pocket. Now I'm adding that last because I want to get this piece in and then get the lace put on. It'll make it a lot easier to do it this way. Now this is out of the 8 by 8. Now I will tell you that there is a trim, a green trim that I had cut off from around it. Little green trim. And I took and cut it so this was the same height, and I taped those on both ends. The reason being, the piece as it sits did not cover from end to end, and so you have this big purple end here. Now, if that doesn't bother you, don't worry about splicing in the little green strips. But to me, it didn't look balanced, so that's why I put the green strips on the end. I taped them on, so now it goes from end to end. And then I'll lay my lace again. So here we go. We're gonna go ahead and get this put on. Okay, I gotta take this tape off. And then I'm gonna set this in here. And then I'm gonna set my lace. It will just be so much easier doing it this way. And before I get that on there, you see now my little green strips here is about almost 1/4 of an inch. Otherwise, you're going to see a big purple end on each. And like I said, if that doesn't bother you, you don't have to splice it in. Now I'm going to run this along the taped edge, and then when I get down here, I have a little bit of excess, and it's easier to cut it off right now. Okay, now the way I'm going to attach mine, and you probably have your own method of attaching things, as I'm going to put a 1/4 inch piece of tape on the inside of these 2 bottom flaps, and I'm just coming up to the 1/2 inch mark. You don't want to put tape over the 5/8 little gusset we've got going on there. And then it's just easier for me. Like I said, if you have a different way of doing this, by all means. Take that off, and then I'm going to fold this over and secure it, making my pocket. Making sure that my little 5/8 of a gusset there is maintaining its integrity. Okay, so now I got my pocket. Now my pocket can come on here. So this is what it's going to look like when we're all finished. But I need to run some glue here. I'm going to turn this over, and then I'm going to go in and burnish. I need to get in here a little firmer. Okay. I'm attached, yay, so there we go. Oh, why am I lopsided? Uh-oh. Oh no. That means I don't have one of the ends all the way in. I gotta get to this before this glue totally sets up. That should not be lopsided. Ah, whew, there we go. All right, so let's try this again. Oh my goodness sakes. And I probably did that when I turned it over. So I'll have to make sure that it stays in there straight. Now, let me look at this real quick, make sure I didn't mess it up. Okay, much, much better. Like I said, if you've got an easier way of doing it, go for it. All right, I am going to put some tape on the back side of this, but first I want to put my little chipboard piece up here in the corner. It's my little fairy wings. There we go. Okay. Oh, and let me kind of show you what I was talking about. So this is your pocket. So this will go in this far. So if I was to cut this off, this is how deep you'd be able to go. But down here, you've got a bigger pocket and you can stuff more items in it. So let's go ahead and get some tape on the back side of this. And it's a light, as in weight, signature. So I am having myself a morning here. I'm trying not to smash this. Anyway, the weight of it is so light I don't need to use excess tape to put this in the album. So I'm just going to use 1/2 inch. And then I'm going to take and put a couple here. So the weight is going to be down here where that big pocket is. And then this is going to be the big tuck. I'm going to end up smashing that after all. Oh well, I'll fix it. Okay, let's get it in our book. And it will sit in just like so. Just a second, I had all kinds of stuff on my paper. I think I'm going to try and put this in, taking all the tape off, because like I said, it's light enough. I don't have a lot of weight that I have to manage. All right, so I want to balance this here. Okay. Okay, I think I got her in there. All right, there we go. Done. So we're going to come back. We're going to do a little bit more complex, a bigger one here. So I'll see you then. Bye-bye.